many years with Divine Mother, particularly in the last years when I would go to visit her and spend some time, because Emin lived right next door to her. So I was with her from 5 o'clock in the morning. And those morning times were the busiest times for her, because it was a time when people would drop in before they went to work, and she would be making pancakes and greeting people and farewelling people and transmitting to them. But very often during that time the phone would ring and she would pick it up, and it would be someone wanting to ask her a question or seek her advice. And quite often she would be heard to say, "Don't worry, just put down the phone and I'll pray for you." But of course she'd put down the phone and then immediately go back to making her pancakes and greeting people. So to all intents and purposes there was no praying taking place here, which used to perplex me sometimes as I witnessed it. But of course now we're in that place where we recognize what it was. But to throw light on this place that we now arrive at, that we know the difference now, there are several other little stories, and one of them is that story about the couple, the wife of whom was very pious, Muslim, of the Muslim faith, and before she did anything at all, she would always say, "Insha'Allah," she said, "God willing." So before taking on any task, no matter what it was, she would say, "Insha'Allah." Now, this got up her husband's nerves somewhat, because he wasn't at all pious. He didn't go to the mosque, he didn't have any faith at all. So he was determined to challenge her faith one day. So he brought to his wife a bag of gold. And he said, "Now, wife, this is our worldly savings. And you know that I'm a bit of a spendthrift, so I want you to put them away in a place where not even I can find them safely." So the wife took the bag of gold, but unbeknownst to her, her husband spied on her when she was putting it away. So she actually put it in the closet with the key. Insha'Allah, before she did so. Insha'Allah, she took the key. Insha'Allah, she placed the gold in the closet. Insha'Allah, she locked it in. Insha'Allah, she put the key in her apron pocket, so to speak. And the husband was watching her all at this time. So when the wife had gone to sleep or gone shopping or whatever it was, he went to her pocket, took the key, went to the closet, took out the gold, and hid it in the well at the back of their house. So several days later, the husband said to the wife, "Now, I want you to take out that bag of gold, because I need to take out some gold pieces." So, of course, the wife went to her pocket, Insha'Allah, got the key, Insha'Allah, went to the closet, opened it up, Insha'Allah, and there was the husband standing back there, gloating and rubbing his hands, waiting to take a rise out of his wife, when the gold was not to be found in the closet. But to the husband's very great surprise, there was the bag of gold, although it was sopping wet. And second, very similar little anecdote is about the husband and wife, also Muslims, as the case is. And the wife again was very, very pious, and she also predicated everything that she did with Insha'Allah, God willing. But the husband was a weaver, and he also had a little plot of land at the back of their house that he used to sow vegetables, sell to the markets. So one evening he said to his wife, "Wife, tomorrow morning I think it's going to be a fine day, so I'm going to go out in the field and sow some of our seeds. So please take the seeds, cull them, and get me ready some bread and cheese so that I can go out. And the wife said, well, if God willing, God willing. Oh, said the husband, God willing, it's a fine day, and in a fine day I'm going to go out and sow the field. But God willing or not God willing, if it's not a fine day, I'll go back to weaving the cloak that I was weaving. Negating, of course, everything that the wife just said, well, Inja Allah, husband. And they went to bed and went to sleep. Well, first thing in the morning, when they woke up, there was a very loud knock on the door. And when the husband opened the door, there was standing a big Turkish soldier. And he said, are you Abu Ali? And the weaver said, yes, I'm Abu Ali. Well, the soldier said, you have to guide me into town because I don't know how to find my way into town. And the weaver said, but I'm busy, I have things I do. So the soldier gave him a big whack over the head. He said, you're taking me into town. So like a little dog, the weaver led the way into town, which was quite a fair distance away. So it took them all day, almost, to get there. But when they arrived in the town, the soldier just turned to the weaver and said, oh, well, may your journey be safe back to your home. So the weaver had to take the long journey back to his home, and it rained in the afternoon. So he didn't get back to his house until quite late. So he knocked on the door, and his wife called out, who is that? And the husband said, God willing is your husband, God willing. So when we put these three little anecdotes together, and we look at this place, we're still in the same movement. And we recognize that something happens when we come together. Just like we recognize when those three dimensions of life come together, body, mind and spirit. Such a demand. Existence, knowledge and bliss, whatever way we like to describe it. When they come together for us, we're very well aware of it in the moments. There's no separation between these three. Existence, that which has the opposites, cause and effect, time, so forth. Our intuition, our awareness of that inner knowingness, and our observation that's there constantly now of the interrelatedness or the oneness of life. They're no longer separate, even though they constitute in nitty-gritty level their movement and opposites and collisions. And intuition-wise, it's airy-fairy and magical and all of those things. And then that level of oneness, we look out at the birds, the trees, the movement, and without even having a thought about it, there's an absence of separation between it, which really transcend the other two. And yet they all go together in the present, now. So when we hear these three little anecdotes, when we have these experiences for ourselves, how do we express it in our life? What did it mean, even though Divine Mother said those words, oh, don't worry, put down the phone and I'll pray for you. And she didn't pray. I know she didn't pray. She didn't do anything. Why? Where do they meet? Where do they come together now in us? And we recognize now. And in this very moment, there is that experience being had. Because my sister is dying. She's now in the hospital. She went into hospital last night. But in talking to my family, I've said to them, I'm keeping vigil. Not praying. I didn't say I'm praying for her. I'm keeping vigil. That's my way of expressing this. How would you express it? What is it about our life now? What is it that allows us, and for me in particular, with those who come, with their burdens, with their indecisions, with their confusion, to say, don't worry, I'm holding you tight. What is meant by that? What is this vigil? What does it mean when we say to someone, I'm holding you tight? You can't get lost. What is it now?
Trust. It's like keeping a presence.
Absolutely. No trust. Because
Yes,
therefore we would have to have trust in something.
That's right. Yes, yes, yes.
Because in this presence, and I don't want to put words into my, but in this presence, everything is done. Everything is as it should be. Everything is perfect. But only here. Isn't it so?
Yes, yes.
But it's not just about nowness or here-ness, or even about presence. There are those other things that have to come into it. The recognition that if our mind is somewhere else, those three are not in alignment. We are not here. But no matter what we're doing, everything is in order when we are. Isn't it so? But how would you express it now? In these coming days, as there's a need to put out these messages, assurances to people in these times of change, what are you going to say? How are you going to
I do the
express it?
same as the one. People even on Facebook have problems and they ask for, support and prayers, and I just say, prayers going to you and go off and do something else. Because as soon as something has entered our awareness, it's already done. It's here, something's done instantly.
Absolutely. So for me, it's keeping the vigil. Isn't it so?
So that's that level where one of the friends on Facebook has got cancer for the third time, so it's a big battle. She's been on chemo for 8 months. And even though the Wendy mind forgets, every so often there's just this feeling that comes up and her name, and it's like something else is there that reminds the mind that it's already happened before the mind goes, oh yeah, that's right, Chris, but it's already happened somewhere else.
Yes.
So it's constantly there doing whatever it's doing and pops up every so often up here. Is that what you mean, Pat? It's ongoing without us even being aware?
Yes. And it makes obvious to us where stillness and movement meet. Because the movement of life goes to bring about its end. That's time. There's always a beginning and an end. It's here. It doesn't exist.
I had a funny one in the Flinders. One of the top guys in the Flinders, the Aboriginal guys in the Flinders, he was scared of me basically, the women said, because I picked up on different things that they'd told him about. And he did campfires with a lot of the tourists, and he'd sing his songs and tell traditional stories and things like that. But anyway, this particular night, the damper was in the fire, and he'd asked me, and they handed out clapsticks, so we were all using clapsticks, and he stopped and he went, "Do you think the damper's ready?" And I went, "Smells like it, yeah." Anyway, I saw him go, like that. Something was, I thought, why did he have that reaction? Or felt, I don't know where level I picked it. It was almost like it wasn't until 2 days later his older brother, who was the one who'd been through traditional ceremony, said, "You have got Terry shit scared," basically. He said, "How did you know Ajna Matna?" That's their language. And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, Terry asked you in Ajna Matna, he was trying to trip you up to make you look silly in front of everybody. He asked you in Ajna Matna if the damper was ready." I said, "No, he didn't. He asked me in English." He said, "No, he didn't." And I swear he asked me in English. He said, "No, he didn't. He asked you in language." And that's probably why. And something happened that I sat with, that I'd heard English.